Good evening in the U.S. and good morning, Europe. I'm Denise Wood, and you're watching Perspectives. Let's get right to it. One of the top stories this week is that U.S. President Donald Trump signed a new executive order on immigration. Many are calling this Trump's travel ban 2.0, but there are some significant changes from the first version, which was released in late January. Yesterday, a parking garage collapsed, killing at least 3 people and trapping dozens. The collapse originally occurred when a crane fell on the 4-story parking garage, collapsing all 4 stories into the ground. In about an hour, we will be seeing a ceremony to commemorate the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks. There's actually a lot of Americans involved as well. We're expecting around 50 U.S. police officers, some of whom were first responders in the attacks. That's right. I'm joined by Shalev Julio, a commander in the IDF Search and Rescue Unit, to hear more about the situation on the ground. Shalev, so can you tell us, what have you been seeing here on the ground? What happened yesterday? Here in this neighborhood where we are now, it was one of the worst hit during the fires, which swept through Haifa, forcing around 60,000 residents to evacuate. When they returned, many of their houses were scorched beyond recognition and uninhabitable. It's estimated that around 1,600 people remain homeless. Now, I saw on this street earlier today residents coming to try to salvage things from their houses that had remained from the fires to keep them from being destroyed by the rain. They say that this is a very serious concern. Many of the roofs were burned through by the fires. And we open this hour with breaking news. British police have confirmed that 19 people have been killed and at least 50 injured in an explosion at Manchester Arena, where an Ariana Grande concert was taking place on Monday night. We were just hearing from the police of the Greater Manchester Department, again saying that the death toll has now risen to 22 in this tragic attack at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester. Again, we also heard the police commissioner saying that children are among the dead. Now we return to our guest, Joel Goodman. He's a photographer who is live at the scene. Joel, thanks for your patience. Again, if you could just describe the scene that you were seeing last night when you arrived, as we heard the police commissioner saying there are children among the dead. Was it a very young crowd when you were there? What was it like seeing all of these families, these children fleeing the scene? A 7th person has been arrested in the UK in relation to the Manchester Arena bombing, as police say they are investigating a network. We continue our discussion of U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to the West Bank, where he's meeting right now with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in the city of Bethlehem. We now cross to our diplomatic correspondent, Ellie Ochenberg, who is live from Israel's parliament in Jerusalem. Ellie, thanks for being with us. What are you hearing today at Israel's parliament? Have lawmakers been giving reactions ahead of President Trump's anticipated speech? New policies. On that note, we break real quick. There has been some breaking news under 50 miles from where President Trump was meeting with Mahmoud Abbas in the West Bank, addressing the press and condemning the Manchester attack that we saw last night. A stabbing attack has occurred in Netanya. At least 2 were wounded, including the attacker, who was shot and neutralized. 1 police officer was also injured. Both are receiving medical treatment at the scene. Police are indeed treating this as a terror attack, but the investigation is underway. And for more information, we go to Shai. Shai, what do you have to tell us? Tomorrow, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be in Moscow for a friendly chat with President Vladimir Putin. Now, this is significant because it's the 5th meeting between the 2 leaders in the past year, raising questions of whether Israel is looking for allies with Russia or with the U.S. Now to the U.S., where the Midwest was battered by severe weather, with tornadoes hitting Minnesota and parts of Iowa. And in other news, after a whirlwind trip to Israel and the West Bank today, Britain's Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson is saying the United Kingdom is more committed than ever to a 2-state solution. Our panel with Mohammed Al-Qasim, Ariel Levin-Waldman, and Owen Alterman. Again, thank you for being here. So we're all smiling after seeing that clip, a very fun exchange between Netanyahu and Johnson. But also it is interesting to watch Netanyahu's reactions to some of the things that we saw Johnson saying, things that Israel might not have wanted to hear, this continued push for a 2-state solution, and the fact that Britain might get involved with it again.
Well, I mean,